Okay, think about this. You probably have at least 3 Johnson & Johnson products in your home right now.
Probably.
But how did this company become such a healthcare behemoth,
Yeah.
valued at a mind-blowing $426 billion?
Yeah.
That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
The fascinating history of Johnson & Johnson.
Absolutely.
From its surprisingly humble beginnings to its current global dominance.
It's a great story.
We've got insights from business analysts,
Of course.
stock reports,
Uh-huh.
even a fascinating YouTube deep dive comparing J&J to its rivals.
Cool.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Ready to uncover the secrets behind iconic brands like Band-Aids and Tylenol?
I am. Let's go.
All right, so
Let's take it away.
Johnson & Johnson, it all started back in 1886 with 3 brothers,
Okay.
Robert, James, and Edward Johnson.
Okay.
They had a simple goal, creating sterile surgical dressings.
Wow.
Now, this seems like a no-brainer today.
Right.
But back then, surgery was a completely different ballgame.
Sterile surgical dressings. I mean,
Huge deal. That was a revolutionary idea back then.
it was.
Can you imagine surgery before sterile dressings?
I don't even want to think about it.
It's pretty remarkable, actually,
Yeah.
that they were so forward-thinking.
Yeah, they were pioneers in antiseptic techniques and packaging, really setting the stage for modern surgery.
They hit a home run right out of the gate with these sterile dressings.
Yeah.
Where did they go from there?
Well, they had this knack for identifying everyday problems
Okay.
and creating simple yet effective solutions.
Okay.
Take Johnson's baby powder, launched in 1894.
Oh, yeah.
It became a global phenomenon.
I remember that stuff.
Yeah.
It was in everybody's house.
A staple in nurseries everywhere.
Yeah, baby powder's so simple, yet so brilliant.
Whoa.
It's fascinating to me how they built this empire of brands,
Right.
each one iconic in its own right.
That's the magic of their diversification strategy.
Yeah.
They didn't just stick to one product line.
Mm-hmm.
They expanded into new areas, addressing specific needs, like Band-Aids in 1920.
Oh, the Band-Aid.
Another stroke of genius.
The story behind the Band-Aid is so interesting.
Oh, tell me.
I read that it was invented by Earl Dixon,
Uh-huh.
an employee at Johnson & Johnson,
Okay.
because his wife kept cutting herself in the kitchen.
How did you know that?
He wanted to create something that would allow her to easily dress her own wounds.
Oh, that's great.
And voila, the Band-Aid was born.
That's awesome.
Talk about a light bulb moment.
Right.
And it wasn't just bandages and baby products.
Yeah.
They went on to develop Tylenol, which became the go-to pain reliever for millions.
Oh, yeah, Tylenol.
I mean, it's practically a verb.
It is.
Everybody takes Tylenol.
Introducing that in 1955 was a game changer.
Yeah.
It offered effective pain relief
Right.
without the stomach irritation you get with aspirin.
Right. It's gentler.
And because you could buy it over the counter,
Uh,
it was accessible to a much wider market.
of course.
Really smart.
They were really tapping into the needs of everyday people.
They were.
It seems like they had this knack for understanding what consumers wanted.
Totally.
But let's be real. No company has a perfect track record.
Right.
J&J has had its share of controversies too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We can't ignore the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
the talc lawsuits.
Yeah.
They face allegations that their talc-based products,
Uh-huh.
like baby powder,
Right.
were contaminated with asbestos
Yeah.
and caused cancer.
That's right.
Those are serious accusations.
Very serious.
How did J&J handle this situation?
They faced numerous lawsuits,
Okay.
resulting in billions of dollars in settlements and verdicts.
Wow.
They even attempted to resolve the claims through bankruptcy filings.
So this is a
Complex
complex.
controversial process.
These lawsuits have definitely cast a shadow over the company's reputation.
They have.
How has all of this affected their business as a whole?
Yeah,
Are they still a powerhouse in the healthcare industry?
absolutely.
Okay.
Their business model rests on 3 main pillars,
Okay.
each one incredibly successful.
Right.
First, you have the consumer health products.
The everyday essentials,
Exactly, the ones we see on store shelves all the time.
like what we were just talking about.
Exactly.
The Band-Aids, the Tylenol.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Then there's the pharmaceutical division,
Yep.
which develops prescription drugs for a wide range of conditions.
So they're not just Band-Aids and baby powder.
Yeah.
They're developing serious medications
Yeah.
that are impacting people's lives.
That's right.
Wow.
And finally, there's the medical devices segment.
Okay.
This includes everything from surgical instruments to orthopedic implants,
Oh.
even contact lenses.
Okay, so they're covering a huge swath of the healthcare industry.
They are.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
But let's get down to the numbers.
Okay.
Financially, How are they doing with all this going on?
Right.
Are they as strong as they seem?
If we look at their financials, they're still pulling in over $80 billion in annual revenue.
Really?
Their profit margins are consistently around 20%.
Wow.
Which is very healthy.
That's a lot of Band-Aids and Tylenol.
It is.
But seriously, what does that tell us about their overall financial health?
It indicates they're a well-managed company that knows how to generate profits even amidst challenges.
That's important.
And here's a fun fact.
Go on.
They have a dividend payment streak spanning over 60 years.
Wait, 60 years of uninterrupted dividends?
Uninterrupted.
That's incredible.
It is.
Most companies can only dream of that kind of consistency.
Right.
Wow, so even with these controversies,
Yeah,
they're still a financial juggernaut.
they are.
But how are they navigating the ever-changing landscape of the healthcare industry?
That's a good question.
What does the future hold for a giant like J&J?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
They've made some bold moves recently, like spinning off their consumer health business.
Okay, so they're streamlining their focus to maybe double down on pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
Exactly.
Okay.
It allows them to concentrate on areas with potentially higher growth and profitability.
So they're not just sitting back and letting the industry pass them by.
No.
They're actively exploring new technologies and markets.
They are.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Okay.
What are some of the key areas they're focusing on?
Well, they're investing heavily in research and development, particularly in fields like gene therapy and personalized medicine.
Those sound like cutting-edge areas.
They are.
What exactly is gene therapy?
It's a revolutionary approach to treating diseases
Okay.
by modifying a person's genes.
So instead of treating the symptoms,
Yeah,
you're addressing the underlying genetic issue.
that's right.
Wow, that's incredible.
It has the potential to cure diseases that were previously considered incurable,
Wow.
really revolutionizing healthcare as we know it.
That's mind-blowing.
It is.
And personalized medicine, what does that entail?
It's about tailoring treatments to an individual's unique genetic makeup, lifestyle, and environment.
Okay.
It's moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare.
So it's like custom-designed healthcare.
You could say that.
Wow.
And Johnson & Johnson is at the forefront of this shift,
Okay.
developing diagnostic tools and targeted therapies that take individual variability into account.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is.
So they're betting big on the future of medicine,
Yeah,
which makes sense considering their history of innovation.
it does.
But let's be real.
Sure.
There are always challenges, right?
Always.
What are some of the obstacles they might face?
Well, in the pharmaceutical world,
Okay.
they're facing increasing competition from generic drug manufacturers.
So they need to constantly innovate
They do.
and stay ahead of the curve
Yeah,
and justify the cost of their brand name medications.
exactly.
Excellent.
And in the medical device field,
Oh.
they face regulatory hurdles and the constant pressure to develop safer and more effective products.
It's a high-stakes game
It is.
with a lot of pressure to perform.
A lot of pressure.
One thing that keeps coming up in our research is J&J's remarkable resilience.
Yeah,
They seem to weather storms and bounce back stronger than ever.
that's true. They faced controversies, lawsuits,
Yeah.
and intense competition.
Right.
Yet they continue to be a major force in the healthcare industry.
So what's the secret to their resilience?
Right.
How do they manage to stay afloat amidst all this chaos?
I think it comes down to a few key factors.
Okay.
They have a strong, diversified business model that allows them to weather downturns in specific markets.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Got it.
They're also very good at adapting to change.
Okay.
They're constantly innovating, exploring new technologies, and
Right.
expanding into new markets.
So it's like they have this built-in survival instinct that keeps them moving forward. And let's not forget about their brand recognition.
Oh, yeah.
They've built a reputation for quality and reliability over decades,
Decades.
which gives them a significant advantage in the marketplace.
Huge advantage.
So even when they make mistakes,
Right?
people still trust their products,
They do.
which is a testament to the power of a strong brand.
It is.
It's like a safety net that helps them bounce back from setbacks.
It is.
This is all fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored J&J's humble beginnings, their impressive rise to dominance,
Right.
their key product launches,
Yeah.
and even some of their controversies.
The good and the bad.
We've taken a peek at their financial health
Yeah.
and their impressive track record of dividend payments,
60 years.
but there's still so much more to uncover.
Oh, yeah.
In the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to delve deeper into J&J's strategies for navigating the global healthcare market.
That sounds good.
So stay tuned.
All right.
Because the J&J story is far from over.
Far from over.
And we're just getting started.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into Johnson & Johnson.
We left off talking about J&J's resilience and their ability to adapt to a constantly changing industry.
Yeah, and it's this adaptability that's allowed them to not just survive, but thrive for over a century.
So let's talk about one of their most recent adaptations.
Sure.
The spin-off of their consumer health division.
Right. In 2023, they spun off brands like Band-Aid, Tylenol, and Johnson's baby powder into a separate company called Kenvue.
What was the thinking behind that? Was it just to simplify their structure?
It was partly that, but also a strategic move to allow both companies to focus on their core strengths.
So Kenvue can laser focus on those everyday consumer products.
Exactly. Yeah. While Johnson & Johnson can dedicate more resources to the higher growth, higher margin areas of pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
It makes sense. But pharmaceuticals is a notoriously tough market.
It is.
How are they staying competitive against the generic drug manufacturers?
Innovation is key.
Okay.
They're investing heavily in research and development, exploring new frontiers like gene therapy and personalized medicine.
We touched on those briefly before.
We did.
But could you break them down a bit more?
Sure.
What makes these areas so promising?
Well, gene therapy is essentially rewriting the code of life.
Whoa.
It's about targeting the root cause of diseases by modifying a person's genes.
So instead of just treating symptoms,
Yeah.
you're addressing the underlying genetic issue.
Precisely. It has the potential to cure diseases that were previously considered incurable.
Yeah.
Revolutionizing healthcare as we know it.
That's mind-blowing.
I know.
And personalized medicine, how does that fit into the picture?
Personalized medicine is all about tailoring treatments to an individual's unique genetic makeup, lifestyle, and environment.
So moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that each patient is different and requires a personalized treatment plan for the best outcome.
So it's like custom-designed healthcare.
In a way, yes.
That's wild.
And Johnson & Johnson is at the forefront of this shift, developing diagnostic tools and targeted therapies that take individual variability into account.
It sounds like they're betting big on the future of healthcare.
They are.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Given their history of innovation.
It does.
But let's zoom out a bit and talk about global expansion.
Okay, emerging markets are a huge opportunity for J&J.
Okay.
We're talking about regions with rapidly growing populations and increasing access to healthcare.
So countries with a rising middle class.
Exactly. And a growing demand for quality healthcare products and services.
Makes sense.
Places like China, India, Brazil.
Okay.
These are key markets for J&J's future growth.
What are some of the unique challenges they face when expanding into these markets?
Well, each country has its own regulatory landscape, political climate, and cultural nuances.
So navigating those complexities can be tricky.
It can be. It requires a deep understanding of the local market and a willingness to adapt their strategies accordingly.
And of course, there's always the risk of political instability or economic fluctuations.
Right. Those are factors they have to take into account, but the potential rewards are significant.
So it's a calculated risk?
It is.
But one that could pay off big time.
Exactly. And they're not just going in blindly. They're forming strategic partnerships. Investing in local infrastructure and building trust with communities.
So it's a long-term commitment.
It is.
Not just a quick grab for profits.
It's about building sustainable businesses that benefit both the company and the communities they serve.
This is all incredibly insightful. We've covered J&J's bold moves, their focus on innovation, and their global ambitions.
That's right.
But before we wrap up this part, we have to address the elephant in the room once again. The talc lawsuits. These lawsuits have been a major challenge for the company, both financially and reputationally. It's hard to ignore the impact they've had.
It is.
Can you remind our listeners about the specifics of these lawsuits?
Essentially, J&J has been accused of knowingly selling talc-based products that were contaminated with asbestos, a known carcinogen.
And these products, like baby powder,
Yes.
Were used by millions of people.
Millions, exactly. The lawsuits allege that J&J concealed evidence of the contamination.
Wow.
And misled consumers about the safety of their products.
These are serious allegations.
They are.
With potentially devastating consequences.
Devastating.
For the people who use these products.
That's right.
Absolutely. And the lawsuits have resulted in billions of dollars in settlements and verdicts against J&J.
Correct.
It seems like they've tried various legal maneuvers.
They have?
To manage these liabilities, including bankruptcy filings.
That's right.
But these attempts have faced legal challenges and scrutiny.
They have.
From plaintiffs and lawmakers.
Yeah, so it's still an ongoing saga with no clear end in sight.
It's a stark reminder that even a company with a long history of innovation and success can face serious ethical and legal challenges.
Well, absolutely.
And it highlights the importance of transparency, accountability, and putting consumer safety above all else.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to consider.
It is.
So as we head into the final part of our deep dive,
the
big question remains, what does the future hold for this healthcare behemoth?
Right.
Can they overcome the legal hurdles, maintain their innovative edge, and continue to thrive in a rapidly changing world?
Good questions.
We'll explore those questions and more in our final installment.
We will.
Stay tuned as we analyze J&J's prospects, weigh the risks and opportunities, and ultimately try to answer the question, is Johnson & Johnson a company built to last?
Let's find out.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
We're back.
We've covered a lot of ground with Johnson & Johnson.
We have.
From their humble beginnings to their bold moves in the face of some major challenges.
A lot of challenges.
But now we're in the final stretch.
Final stretch.
And the million-dollar question on everyone's mind is, what does the future hold for this healthcare giant?
It's a big one.
Are they a good investment right now?
That's what we're here to unpack.
Right.
It's not a simple yes or no answer.
Okay.
There are a lot of factors at play.
Let's start with the spinoff of their consumer health business.
Okay.
How has that been playing out for them?
The spinoff, Kenvue, has actually been performing quite well.
Okay.
They recently reported strong earnings that surpassed Wall Street expectations.
So it seems like that strategic move is paying off.
It seems like it.
They're streamlining their focus and allowing each division to excel in its respective area.
Exactly. It allows Johnson & Johnson to focus on the more complex and potentially more lucrative areas of pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
Speaking of pharmaceuticals, they're facing some serious competition from generic drug manufacturers.
They are. It's tough out there.
How are they planning to stay ahead in this race?
They're investing heavily in research and development, particularly in those cutting-edge fields we discussed earlier, gene therapy and personalized medicine.
Those areas seem promising.
They do.
But they're also incredibly complex and risky.
Very risky.
Are these investments likely to pay off in the long run?
It's hard to say for sure. These are long-term bets.
Yeah.
Gene therapy in particular is still in its early stages. There are regulatory hurdles.
Right.
Ethical considerations, and of course, the scientific challenges of developing safe and effective treatments.
So it's a gamble, but one with potentially huge rewards if it pans out.
Huge rewards.
And with personalized medicine, it's all about gathering and analyzing vast amounts of data to tailor treatments to individual patients.
Yeah, that's the goal.
It requires significant investments in technology and infrastructure.
Big investments.
It sounds like they're really pushing the boundaries of healthcare.
They are. They're trying to stay ahead of the curve.
But with those innovations come risks.
Right. Of course, there's always a risk.
Yeah.
That these new technologies won't live up to the hype.
Right.
Or that they'll be too expensive to be widely adopted.
Yeah. That's a possibility.
Yeah, and there are always unexpected challenges that can arise along the way.
So a lot of unknowns.
A lot of unknowns.
But let's not forget about their global expansion plans.
Okay.
We talked about the opportunities in emerging markets.
We did.
How are those playing out?
They're making significant progress in expanding their reach in these regions. They're building manufacturing facilities, forming partnerships with local healthcare providers, and tailoring their products to meet the specific needs of these markets.
But expanding into new territories always comes with risks, too.
It always does. Absolutely. There's political instability. Economic volatility, and the challenge of navigating different cultural norms and regulatory environments.
It's a complex landscape.
Very complex.
So they're juggling a lot.
They are.
Navigating complex legal battles. investing in risky innovations, and expanding into uncharted territories.
It's a lot for any company to handle.
It is.
And we can't forget about the ongoing talc litigation.
Oh, yeah.
Those lawsuits are still looming over them.
Right.
And the outcome could have a significant impact on their financial stability and their reputation.
A lot to weigh.
It is.
On one hand, they have this incredible track record of innovation.
Right.
A diversified business model and a strong global presence.
They do. They've got a lot going for them.
On the other hand, they're facing some serious headwinds.
Yeah.
Lawsuits, competition, and the inherent risks of venturing into unproven territory.
Those are big risks.
So for someone looking at Johnson & Johnson as a potential investment, what's the bottom line?
Right.
Is it a buy, a hold, or a sell?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And unfortunately, there's no easy answer.
Right.
It depends on your individual investment goals, your risk tolerance, and your belief in J&J's ability to navigate these challenges and emerge stronger.
So it's a judgment call.
It is.
There's no crystal ball that can predict the future of any company, especially in a complex industry like healthcare.
That's for sure.
But what we can do is equip you with the knowledge, the insights, and the different perspectives to make your own informed decision.
Exactly.
And that's what we've aimed to do in this deep dive.
That's right.
We've explored the multifaceted story of Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah. A fascinating story.
From their remarkable rise to the challenges they face today.
Lots of ups and downs.
We've examined their financial health, their strategic decisions, their innovative endeavors, and their ethical dilemmas.
It's a complex picture.
Ultimately, the decision of whether to invest in Johnson & Johnson is up to you.
It is. You have to weigh all the factors.
But hopefully, this deep dive has given you a clearer understanding of what makes this company tick, the risks involved, and the potential rewards.
Exactly. You've got to do your research.
Remember, every investment carries a degree of uncertainty.
Always.
The key is to do your research.
Yeah.
Weigh the pros and cons and make a decision that aligns with your personal financial goals.
That's the key.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Johnson & Johnson.
That's it.
We hope you found this exploration insightful and engaging.
We did.
We encourage you to continue exploring, researching, and diving deep into the companies and industries that interest you.
Keep learning.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
We appreciate it.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating company to dissect and analyze.
We'll see you then.
Until then, happy investing.
Happy investing.